Today, secondstreet.org is going up to Kitimat, BC. We're going to go talk to everyday people about what LNG has done to help Indigenous people in their communities. In 2018, a company called LNG Canada announced they had signed agreements with 26 First Nation communities to take natural gas from below the surface in central BC and transport it by pipeline to the coastal community of Kitimat. From there, the gas is chilled to the point where it becomes a liquid, hence the term liquid natural gas, LNG. The material is then shipped by boat to countries that are currently using coal for their electricity. Also, LNG releases 50% less carbon dioxide than coal. Not only is this an environmental benefit, but we're on an adventure today to find out how our Indigenous communities are working with major industry projects like LNG to help build schools, recreational centers, and healthcare centers in their communities. I want to know how they're doing this and what are the pros and cons. So I landed safely, and now I'm heading to the Haisla First Nation just outside Kitimat, and it's one of the areas where natural gas development is occurring in the Kitimat area. Hey everyone, so we're actually here at the Haisla First Nation admin office, and we're going to be speaking with Crystal Smith. She's the chief counselor here in our village, and we're going to be talking about some development projects and how it's benefiting her community.
My name is Crystal Smith. I am the elected chief counselor of the Haisla Nation. We're fortunate in where we reside. It's not only one sector, such as LNG, that's interested in our port. We get many project descriptions, from coal to oil refineries, potash, and we did our homework in terms of the impacts of those other commodities. And LNG was a suitable product for us to get behind and support in terms of having that industry in our territory. We have 20-year-olds that are buying their own homes. I often say that may not be that big of a deal to the average Canadian. We're not average Canadians. When you come into our communities and you see the poverty levels, it's often described within statistics. But when you take a look at an average Indigenous child growing up, they're often growing up in poverty. I am so happy to say that through the revenues generated to our community, that we are able to close that gap so that we are in line with average Canadians. You know, my younger sister, for an example, on no help from anybody else, was able to work towards providing her own down payment, successfully being given a mortgage through a regular bank, and then bought her own first home that her and my nephew are living in and are happy.
The new natural gas project is not just helping people in the community rise out of poverty through good paying jobs, but also in terms of services and infrastructure, such as a new healthcare center, a gym, and added services.
So when we offer programs that we've never been able to offer before, our health center is doing tremendous work when it comes to meeting the needs of our members in every aspect. For the first time since I was a teenager, we have an alcohol and drug counselor. We have a mental health clinician. We have 3 or 4 nurses, qualified nurses that work out of our health center, and that is meaningful.
Crystal made some very good points. It was really interesting to hear about the challenges that can arise with natural resource projects and industry coming in. I'm also going to interview Chris Sankey. Chris is from Prince Rupert, BC. We're going to get his take on LNG Canada and what it means for his Indigenous people.
My name is Chris Sankey. I am based in Prince Rupert, and I am the chairman president of Blackfish Enterprises, director, vice president of Big Crude Energy, and chairman of Blackfish Industries, heavy civil construction company. One of the projects I was a part of, which was the $36 billion Pacific Northwest LNG deal, which was 51% owned by Petronas Global. And they were proposing a liquefied natural gas plant. It was in a contentious area. It was very sensitive to many people, not just Indigenous. It was at the mouth of the Skeena. Canadians need to understand that Indigenous people are for responsible resource development. This notion out there that somehow like all Indigenous communities are against natural resource development, that's simply not true. I think the broader Canada needs to understand that we are for these big projects. It just needs to be done responsible. I found that it wasn't so much individuals that truly cared about the environment. It was the agenda-driven environmental activists that made life extremely difficult. I myself had death threats towards me, had prank phone calls, fake email accounts sent to me. I had a rock thrown at my house, and it was all because of this narrative that was portrayed to the media that somehow we were destroying the earth and that somehow Indigenous people that were in support of resource development were sellouts.
Talking to folks here and speaking to their leaders of their communities, it is clear that there are pros and cons of industries coming in and developing natural resources. However, it does seem that the pros outweigh the cons. By removing all the noise, you realize the amount of environmental impact research as well as community council meetings that go into each and every single project being approved now. And this is a good thing. We want to see our Indigenous communities thrive, and what I think we are seeing are the real benefits of collaboration between industry and our First Nations.